So welcome to the January issue of from IMAR, DGSF, and FYI Fly on new topics that we thought would be great for after the new year. What do we do with these credit cards that are now maxed out? And I have no plan. And I got all the kids are really happy with big smiles. I didn't build my budget in December, didn't listen to some of the things we said. Now what do I do?
Well, the first thing I will say is don't throw your credit card statements in the garbage. Don't ignore them. That won't help. As we all know, we have good intentions and we say we're going to keep a budget for our spending. And we really do hope you listened to some of the topics we talked about in December, because we gave you some good ideas on that. But the reality is it's now January, Christmas is over, and the credit card bills are here. So if you, like many other people who participated in the gangbuster Black Friday and Christmas shopping, and it went on your credit card, there's some simple things you can do to start. One of the things you want to do is you want to sit down and grab your budget. You want to grab your piece of paper. You want to look at what your credit card bills are. Look at your interest rates. And then you sit down and you say, how can I start to pay these off as quickly as possible while still making sure your other bills get paid? And in an inflationary environment, I know that can be sometimes more challenging, but that's really the easiest way to do it. If you really find that you've got some other issues and you really can't pay it, because sometimes in the winter, people get laid off, they have less hours. So it's kind of a complicated thing. You have a bigger bill, it's colder, your utilities might be higher, but you also have your credit card bills. If for some reason you cannot pay them, contact the credit card company and try to make some arrangements. Sit down, figure out which credit card balances you have, what are the highest interest rates, because you want to focus on them as much as possible to minimize the interest. And then the second thing you want to do is if you run into a problem and you cannot make at least the minimum payments, then you need to contact the credit card company and try to see if you can make some arrangements to buy some time. Maybe they will even reduce some of the interest rates. You don't know. How do you say, if you don't ask, it won't happen.
Yeah, and a couple other things that potentially could be an option. Some of the credit unions have programs specifically designed to help you get out of credit card debt. Of course, there's always the traditional snowball method, starting with the smallest balance first, right? And paying that. And then you've not just eliminated that credit card, but you've eliminated that payment. So that eliminates that output for that card. And then whatever payment you were making on that one can go towards the other cards. Seeing if they have, like the credit union I worked for had a credit card buster program where they would reduce it. At the time, it was like a 9 or 10%, which is going to probably be lower than your credit card. With a fixed payment, and then you paid that one off, and they only did one at a time. They didn't take on all your credit card debt. They do a little one at a time, and to kind of help you get out of debt. And then having the fixed payment for a term loan, it also keeps you accountable to ensure that you do actually pay it. If you own a vehicle outright that is very valuable, like if you own your truck and you owe it outright, or you have a lot of equity in your truck, that's also an option too sometimes. And I know no one likes to have a loan on their truck, but we also don't like to have 30% interest rate credit cards either. So not all of these options are right for everyone, but there are sometimes options, or your home as well, although rates are much higher now. So if you bought your home 3 years ago, that might not be a smart move to make, because interest rates are so much higher. But a car loan, like a title loan against the title on your car, or a special credit card payoff program through your credit union, or maybe even your bank. Maybe some of the banks offer them as well. I would call your credit union and ask, see if they have any good options.
Well, Aubrey, I'm glad that you mentioned the car loan situation, because I actually just had that exact situation. I had an older vehicle that was paid out, and I promised that I was going to take care of this vehicle for as long as I possibly could, and I was going to drive it till the wheels fell off. Well, the wheels fell off.
Oh my gosh.
And I was forced to purchase another vehicle. So my wife and we were talking about it. So so I think I mentioned this during our last episode that whenever I'm shopping for something, I'm going to look at every website I can. I'm going to go to every dealership I can, and whatever I have to do to make sure I find the best price for whatever it is I'm trying to purchase. So I found a vehicle that I like. And so something that my wife and I were talking about was, let's try to pay this down as quickly as possible so we own it outright, and then that's not a new bill that we're having to deal with. And so we were thinking about the different options. And so I thought about how important it is to have multiple revenue streams, different money coming in however you can. Something that everyone's focused on is the gig economy. If you have to take up some extra hours so that you can start knocking that stuff down as quickly as possible, like Debbie said, so that interest isn't killing you every month, because it's going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get better. So don't put it off. Try to put as much toward it as you can. And so kind of talking for us, thinking about New Year's resolutions and different things like that, maybe that's something you guys can focus on, trying to find ways to come up with multiple revenue streams so that you can knock down those credit cards. And then once that's wiped out, then you have money that you can save and invest for your future, for your children's future. So things like that. So keep all of those things in mind.
Reiterating what maybe you said, or let you guys clarify you said. So do I go credit card shopping? I'll ask you that question. So in other words, right, there's the 0% interest for 4 months if you transfer the balance. Is that where I start?
No,
No.
do not do that. Those almost always come with a balance transfer fee. And so basically they take all the interest that they would have charged you over that 4-month time period, and they charge it to you as a fee upfront when you move the balance over to the new card. Pick up a gig or look around your house, and a lot of people have some really nice stuff that's just laying around that they're not using. The Facebook Marketplace is my favorite thing, and I like to buy things off there, and I sell things off there. And I've gone through time periods where I've made pretty good money, like a couple $100s a month. Like we were moving and I was kind of like, oh, I don't need this, don't need this. I can sell $3 or $4 at a time, and that adds up pretty quick. I put it on the porch, the person leaves it under the mat, and even if they stole it, I've only lost $4.
Credit and finance experts answered those questions. I'll go back to what Derek jumped on, though, is finding part-time work or finding different solutions to bring in income. Through my career, there's a time that I haven't had to do that, but like right now, I'm finding part-time stuff to go do. I go down and I work on a guy's system down in Vancouver for a few hours a week. It's not great pay, but it brings in a little extra money to help cover off some of those bills I had. So there's lots of opportunities. You just got to think out of the box a little bit.